As the new year begins, Louisiana Tech is gearing up for some campus renovations. Jason Gregory found out what's coming.
As Louisiana Tech's enrollment numbers have increased steadily, several areas on campus are being renovated. University President Jim Henderson says he is excited for what's to come.
All colleges and universities are addressing some long deferred maintenance issues, and so we have some things associated with that, chillers and roofs, those kind of things, very important. The new construction is very exciting. Our Forest Products Innovation Center and our Athletic Success Center for student athletes are going to be game changers for Louisiana Tech.
With the Athletics Academic Success Center, Henderson says there is a need for student athletes to have their own space in order for them to be successful.
Student athletes have so many pressures all the time, and we request so much from them. So this is a center that's designed specifically to support their academic pursuits. We want our student athletes to be successful on the field and on the courts of play. Most importantly, we want them to be successful in the classroom so they can get that Louisiana Tech degree that just gives them self-control over their future.
President Henderson says that these renovations were made possible by a law that allowed schools to get money from maintenance work without going through the annual legislative process. Since the law was put into place, there were too many projects for the amount of money available, so maintenance on George T. Madison was halted. Henderson says maintenance should be up and running soon.
George T. Madison Hall is one of those. It's a building that was built in the early 60s when they designed buildings to last for 30 years. And believe it or not, we're 60 years past that 30 years. And so there's a lot of work to be done on the inside, but it's going to be a fabulous addition to the campus as we reimagine the space in a building that virtually every student that attends school at Louisiana Tech will take a class in. It's going to
With the enrollment numbers rising year after year, President Henderson says that more parking is expected to be available to combat this, and he's excited for all improvements so Louisiana Tech students can thrive. In Ruston, Jason Gregory, KNOE 8 News.